Now let's talk about a concept which is called virtualized security. Now, virtualized security, we generally focused on the virtual machines. So as we have already discussed that what do you mean by virtualization? Virtualization is nothing but the backbone of the cloud concept, right? And if the virtualization will not be there, the whole cloud could not be possible. So how this virtualized security concepts will be there in cloud security, that we'll see here. So the virtualized security or security virtualization refer to security solutions that are software based and designated to work with a virtual IT environment. So this virtualized security are providing the software solutions to the virtual infrastructure that a user is creating into the cloud. This differs from traditional hardware-based network security, which is static and run on devices such as traditional firewall, routers, and switches. So it is completely different than uh, your hardware-based network security. In contrast to hardware-based security, virtualized security is flexible and dynamic because it is a software-based solution for the security. Instead of being tied to a device, it can be deployed anywhere in the network and it is often cloud-based. So this is the key for virtualized network, in which operators spin up workload and applications dynamically. Virtualized security allows security services and functions to move around with these dynamically created workload. Now here, because we are not providing a hardware-based solutions for the security, we are providing the software-based solutions to the security. So it is very easy to use it, and it provides us the flexibility, and dynamically we can use it in our infrastructure that will create. So the virtual infrastructure that will create in the cloud will generally happen in a dynamic way, and to give the hardware solution is difficult. So this is the best possible solution we have in the cloud, which is in the form of virtualized security or security virtualization. Cloud security considerations such as isolating multi-tenant environment in public cloud environments are also improved to virtualized security. So we know that what happened in the public cloud is many users are using the same infrastructure, and in one physical machine we are going to create different virtual machines. So if we are creating different virtual machines in one machine, so definitely this virtualized security will help to provide the security in each infrastructure, each virtual infrastructure. The flexibility of virtualized security is helpful for securing hybrid and multi-cloud environment where data and workload migrate around to a complicated ecosystem involving multiple vendors. Now, it will also help us in the hybrid or multi-cloud environment where we have the private and the public and community cloud environment together. If we are creating an infrastructure on that aspect, also the virtualized security will be helpful. Now let's talk about different benefits of virtualized security. So the virtualized security is now effectively necessary to keep up with the complex security demands of virtualized network. Plus, it's more flexible and efficient than traditional physical security. Here are some specific benefits. So the first benefit is the cost effective. Why? Because we doesn't have a dedicated hardware that we are providing. It is a software that we are maintaining, right? So the virtualized security allow an enterprise to maintain a secure network without a large increase in spending and expensive proprietary hardware, right? So the price of cloud-based virtualized security services is often defined by usage, which can mean additional saving for organization that use resource efficiently. Next, it provides the flexibility. Virtualized security functions can follow workloads anywhere, which is crucial in a virtualized environment. It provides protection across multiple data centers and in multi-cloud and hybrid cloud environment, which allow an organization to take advantage of a full benefit of virtualization, which also keep data secure. Next, it is operational efficiency, quicker and easier to deploy than hardware-based security. Virtualized security doesn't require IT team to set up and configure multiple hardware appliances. Instead, they can set up security system through centralized software-enabled rapid scaling. Using software to run security technology also allows security tasks to be automated, freeing up additional time for IT team. So that's why it is operationally efficient. Next is a regulatory compliance. Traditional hardware-based security is static and unable to keep up with the demand of the virtualized network, right? So virtualized security is nature, it is more dynamic in nature, and whatever necessity is required by an organization to maintaining their regulatory compliances could be done easily with the help of virtualized security. Now let's see that how does virtualized security works, that how we can use it and how it works. So the virtualized security can take the function of traditional security hardware appliances such as a firewall or the antivirus protection and deploy them via software. In addition, virtualized security can also perform additional security functions. These functions are only possible due to the advantage of virtualization and are designed to address a specific security needs of virtualized environment. For example, if we'll try to understand that an enterprise can insert security protocols such as encryption between the application layer and the underlying infrastructure, or use strategies such as micro segmentation to reduce potential attack surface. Virtualized security can be implemented as an application directly on the bare metal hypervisor, a position it can leverage to provide effective application monitoring, or as a hosted service on a virtual machine. In either case, it can be quickly deployed where it is most effective, unlike physical security, which is tied to a specific device. So these are the advantages of virtualized security, and we doesn't require those traditional security features, as well as it is not at all applicable for the virtual machines if we are using the traditional security features. So it is better to use the virtualized security, which is a software based solutions against the hardware based solutions, and it provide more flexibility, more dynamically configuration could be provided, as we can add some encryption on additionally on it, or we can do some micro segmentation for reducing different attacks also. So all this flexibility it provides the virtualization of the security. Now, how this how it is physical security different from virtualized security? So the traditional physical security is hardware based. and as a result, it is inflexible and static. The traditional approach depends upon the device deployed at a strategic point across the network and is often focused on protecting the network parameter, as with a traditional firewall. However, the parameter of the virtualized cloud-based network is necessarily pros and over workloads and applications are dynamically created, increasing the potential attack surface. So the traditional security also rely heavily upon port and protocol filtering, and approach that is ineffective in a virtualized environment where addresses and ports are assigned dynamically. In such an environment, traditional hardware-based security is not enough. So a cloud-based network requires virtualized security that can move around the network along with workload and applications. So the differences is that only like hardware security is more dependent on the physical security is more dependent on the hardware, and it is not flexible and static, but we require the static and flexible solution for the security uh, for our uh, for our virtual machines. So this is the best option we have, and that can give us the flexibility as well as it provides the it gives us the dynamic security. Now, if we'll talk about different types of virtualized security, then we have all those different commonly used virtualized security. So the first one is the segmentation, on making a specific resource available only to specific applications and users. We can make a segmentation of the resources. This typically take the form of controlling traffic between different network segmentation or tiers. So we can make the segmentation so that in one segmentation, a number of users are there who are, let's say, the legitimate user. We only give the access to those legitimate user, or we can provide the segmentation of the application. So those application only can access the sensitive data. Other application cannot use it. Like, so we can make the segmentation. Micro segmentation or applying a specific security policy at a workload level to create granular security zone and limit an attack ability to move through the network. This micro segmentation divides the data center into segments and allow IT team to define security control for each segment individually, bolstering the data center resist to attacks. So micro segment is also a type of virtualized security in which we can do the segmentation in a more specific way of usage of the workload and the users who are using it. Next type of virtualized security is the isolation, or separating independent workload and application into the same network. This is particularly important in a multi-tenant public cloud environment and can also be used to isolate virtual network from the underlying physical network, protecting the infrastructure from the attack. So we can isolate the physical, the network in the public cloud in which many users are using the infrastructure. So we have different virtual infrastructure. So how we can differentiate different virtual infrastructure, that is done by the isolation function of the virtualized security. So this is all related to the cloud security.